Hey, welcome everyone. Tim Marlowe here with Be the Better Local. We have our guest in studio, Tracy Clark. How are you doing today?
Hello, I am doing really well, thank you.
Nice.
So exciting to have you here today.
It's exciting to be here.
It is. It's the new year. Tracy, you are a wellness chef. You have a podcast. I was telling the listeners earlier about it. So we're here to learn more about your show, your business, and anything that you want to tell the listeners, because again, this show is about those that are stepping out that comfort box, doing more in the local community, and just serving those that need our services the most. So tell us a little bit more about Conscious Culinary and the podcast that you had recently started with us.
Yeah, okay. Well, where to begin? I started Conscious Culinary about 3 years ago, and at the time, it actually was me doing cooking lessons out of my house.
Nice.
Which was a lot of fun. I learned how to cook in the yachting industry, and I kind of had this feeling like if I could do it, anybody could do it. So I really wanted to kind of transfer these philosophies and these skills that I had acquired in yachting to other people.
You're saying yachting like being on a boat.
Being on a boat,
So a small
yes.
kitchen, limited ingredients.
Yes.
I would imagine. I mean, you got to plan ahead on what ingredients you have.
You do have to plan ahead. Luckily, the last boat I was on was 150 foot, so I had a pretty decent-sized galley.
Right.
I had some bilge space.
It's a yacht, not a dinghy, but yes.
There's still obstacles. Sure. But yeah, that's how I got my start. And so I had this passion of teaching people how to cook, but I kind of quickly noticed that I just wanted to teach people how to cook healthy things, and then kind of realized, I actually really want to go one step deeper with people, and instead of just teaching them how to cook, really help them understand how to choose the foods. Because there's so much more about eating and feeling healthy, right, and feeling good about our lifestyle than merely just choosing a food that's has the right calorie content.
Sure.
So, hence Conscious Culinary started to develop. Today, it's my consulting business. I'm working with people one-on-one and really just helping them pinpoint those decision-making patterns, I like to say, that create the behaviors that create our reality. And if the reality is not what you like, then we have to dial it back, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So the guiding wisdom that I turn to when I work with people is Ayurveda. Which is kind of gives my approach its own spin. And Ayurveda is this ancient Indian medicine, right? And it's rooted in self-love, and it really looks at taking care of the body in a very holistic way. And so I introduce that to my clients of, saying, okay, we need to take care of the body, but also the mind and also the spirit. Ayurveda is actually the sister science to yoga, so they go really beautifully together. And as far as the food element, it's a lot about really just sticking within the guidelines of what's in season. It takes into consideration your personal energy fields and where you might be imbalanced, and says, just choose these foods. This is going to be better for you at this time. And then as far as really like disease prevention and curing disease, they turn to herbology and tinctures and spices and all of that good stuff. So for me as a chef, it provides the ingredients that are healing, that have purpose, which make me really excited. And then I get to put it together in these really awesome meals for people.
Instead of just dumping a whole bunch of salt on it and saying it tastes good, right? So we were talking about Paula Deen earlier with a whole bunch of butter, too.
Right.
So,
that's the other end of the spectrum, right?
That's me living in the South.
I love that you talk about finding those decision-making patterns, because when you hear about a wellness chef and someone who's going to teach you how to cook well and healthy, you can see that in a book, right? You can see, I know when I go to the store, when I'm putting something in the cart that's not good, I know I'm making a bad decision. I know I should be shopping in the produce department and buying the fresh produce, but finding that pinpointing why I'm making that decision, that's really what makes a difference.
Exactly. And that's why it needs that holistic approach. And that's why meditation is a really big part of what I bring to people. And my main message with meditation is to let people know that it's accessible and that it's easy. And it's not about quieting the mind and not thinking about anything. It's actually about just being fully present in the moment and just being okay. It's like taking, everything you're feeling and your emotions and saying, I'm just going to put a pin in that. I see it. That's my life. It could be crazy right now, but to have that moment to just step back and say, it's okay, and it doesn't define me,
Right.
and it doesn't limit me from the future that I want. That's why, when people come to me, they could be maybe wanting to improve their lifestyle, lose weight, advance their career, find love, whatever it is. I feel if we're eating our best, we're feeling our best, we're doing our best.
Yeah.
And that's really important. And so we're talking about that decision-making pattern, right? And a lot of people are going to be signing up for these weight loss programs.
Yes.
Because weight seems to be the only sign that we look to when we know to tell us that we
Right.
have to change, right? We can be sleep deprived and have acne and have all these other problems, but it's the weight gain that we're
Right.
like, well, now we have to do something.
Right.
And what the weight loss programs do is they give you the decisions. They say, make these decisions. And we can make them when things are going well. But as soon as life gets stressful, we revert back to that old decision, right? Because that was hard. What I try to do, and through Ayurveda, is help people change their relationship with food, with themselves, so that they're making choices out of love and compassion for themselves, not because of shame or guilt or fear or all those feelings that were kind of associated with diet regimes.
Right. There are so many ancient secrets out there that I don't know why they're secrets when they've been around for so long. But how did you find out about Ayurveda?
I know, right? Okay. So it's actually a really beautiful story. It was probably about 6 or 7 years ago. My husband and I, we were down in the Caribbean on the boat we were working on, right? Needed to get away. And we went to Saba. Have you ever heard of Saba? There's a Saba rock in the British Virgin Islands. I'm talking about the Saba that is by St. Martin.
Okay.
And it is like a barely visible distance from St. Martin. Okay, so it's literally in the middle of nowhere. It's almost 3,000 feet tall in elevation. Okay, like I'm from Bend, Oregon. That's 3,000 feet in elevation.
Okay.
Like this
Wow.
rock in the middle of the Caribbean. So there's literally a rainforest at the top of this rock in the Caribbean, and that part of the Caribbean is super dry. So some people think really tropical, but that area is very dry. And so here you have this rock that shoots up, and the only inhabitable place is right on the top. It's like somebody broke off the tip, right? So that's the only kind of flat land. So we had to go check it out. We were like, we need to go to Saba. So this beautiful place, we stay at this eco lodge, and we were sitting around the fire with the guy that just bought the place. And I actually just remembered this story too, not too long ago, which really made me happy because I was thinking, why did he tell me about it? It was him who said, you need to learn about Ayurveda. And it was because of what I was saying. I was talking about my experience as a chef and just cooking for people, cooking for the crew on the boat, cooking for the boss and the charter guests, and just really adhering to a lot of different dietary requirements and a lot of different levels and styles of cooking. My takeaway was that food had energy. I was like, there's energy in this. Think about how it's cultivated, how it moves through hands, it moves through people, through trucks, through delivery trucks, and then the people at the store picking it up with their hand, putting it on the shelf. Like, we're always transferring energy, and the food itself has energy. And I could see the effects of different kinds of food on people. And I'm living in close quarters with the crew as well, and my husband whom I'm feeding, and I'm making the choices for everybody. So that was my takeaway, that food had energy, and something I said made the guy go, that's Ayurveda.
Wow.
And to be honest, ever since then, every time I learn about it, I read a few more pages, I try a self-love practice, I try a recipe, it's like coming home. It's like I've learned it before. And that's why I love spreading it. And that's why we started the podcast, was because I wanted to get the information about, yes, more awareness on food choices and everything, but really Ayurveda, because if there's ever a time that we need it after 2020, like this is now.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of preventative things that people forget when thinking of their diet, because when you eat the right things, then you can prevent many things. And, I could think of, if there's somebody that has high blood pressure, I'm sure there's something that you can eat and put in there to make sure that they are, I wouldn't say taken off of medicine itself, but at least living that lifestyle where they understand where they're at in life and then using the earth and the natural resources to heal them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's about connection, I think. And that's, I know two things. The body benefits from exercise and the mind benefits from stillness. And in today's world, we have created so many luxuries. Our bodies just don't have to move. And we have created so much Instagram and Facebook and
Right.
social
Too
media
much
and all of it,
stimulation.
that it is constantly bombarding us and what people are saying to us and being able to communicate. We're not made to communicate that much with each other, and having all of that back and forth. It's just too much, and it makes people disconnected from themselves. And I was listening to this lovely Ayurveda, intro to Ayurveda webinar, and the way the guy described it, he said, when we are taking care of ourselves from a holistic point of view and we're honoring our mind, our body, and our soul, and we're really trying to do right by ourselves there, right? What we do is we are reminded of our true self, and we start to understand and we start to know ourselves a lot better. We start to love ourselves a lot better, and that helps us line up with our life's purpose. And when we're truly doing what the universe wants us to do, like I said, we make choices. This was his words. We make choices out of love and compassion instead of making choices out of fear. And that's why it doesn't matter what you want to cultivate, what happiness is to you. You have to first look at the universe inside and make sure that that's balanced and that that's in tune. And when that's a peaceful, happy place, this world out here just becomes so much easier to manage.
Wow. Yeah, that's almost the hardest thing to manage is self-care sometimes, just because we become so busy in life. Some of our conversations in the past just talked about just consciously taking time to prepare for food and prepare the food for the meal. And sometimes I'm very, very guilty of it. I'll just work until I am literally hangry to the point where someone is shoving a burrito down my face just to make me,
That under control.
Get that under control. So I think a lot of this, what you have going on is absolutely going to be changing the lives, and it continues to change the lives of your clients. Talk about some of your clients, not personally, but just their ventures and what they could be dealing with and how that process helps them as well.
Right. So the first thing we do, what the process is, the first thing is, I always say, we can't know where we want to go until we know where we are. Right? We can't know where we are unless we know where we've been. Okay? So there's a lot of food logs and tests and stuff that we're going to do at first, get to know each other. And the Ayurvedic dosha test is one of the first things we do. And what that does is, and this is a great way to explain how Ayurveda works too. So Ayurveda says that we are all comprised of three energies, three doshas. And those doshas are a combination of two of the five elements. And they consider the five elements to be earth, air, fire, water, and ether, which is space.
Okay.
Like the universe inside of us, like I said.
Okay.
Those are the five elements, and each dosha is a combination of two of those. So let's say somebody is dealing with a lot of heartburn.
Okay.
When we take the Ayurvedic dosha test, it's going to tell us that that particular dosha that deals with the fire element is in excess. We have too much fire, right? So that comes out as possibly being really hot all the time, possibly being heartburn. If you're like me and you deal with bloating, that's an excess of air. If you're, possibly having waking up sweating and just completely soaking your bed, maybe that's an excess of water.
Okay. What covers access of just eating too much comfort food?
Yeah.
Asking for a friend here.
Excess of anxiety.
Oh, gotcha.
Or boredom.
Okay.
But it's a leading way to say, okay, if this is what I'm feeling, now I understand this is why. And then if this is an access, then we know the foods to choose to balance us out. So that's the first one. And to be honest, it's really fun just getting to know who you are, because there's your Vikruti, which is your dosha disposition when you are conceived. Okay, moment of conception. Everybody has a certain level of these three doshas, and as we have influences even in our mother's womb, right? All the way throughout our life, those doshas change. They're different levels, and that's why we're always evaluating and saying, well, where are we now? So we can kind of bring that one that's in excess back down. Meditation works as well, focusing on your chakras, because those are just energy fields and tie into emotions and physical pain and all of it, right? So we do that, but then we also do my food log, and that's where we get a really good idea of those decision-making patterns.
What are you buying? What are you eating?
Right, because we're not just writing down what we're eating, we're also writing down how we feel about that meal, how hungry we were for that meal, how we felt physically afterwards, and how we felt about it mentally afterwards. Because now we start seeing that it wasn't just that you had a burger at 10 o'clock, it's that you're starving at 10 o'clock and you're choosing this because you're stressed out and you're hangry and you have limited options and you're eating it, and then you're feeling terrible about yourself and you feel guilty, and that promotes a bad decision at dinner as well. Right? So now we start understanding the person. It's not about taking a food log and me going, well, this is the bad food and that's the bad food. It's about me saying, there's something going on and there's a reason, because you truly want to be your best self.
Sure.
We all want to be our best self.
Right.
And this is going to tell us why we're missing something, right? Because nobody is doing anything wrong. And that's what I think is really important. We're not doing it wrong. We're just making the wrong choice, and we can always do better.
Yeah.
Well, that's such a good point. When I have eaten healthier, which has happened, I've been able to get in that mindset of, before I eat something, why am I choosing to eat this? And am I eating it because if I can slow down enough to think, am I actually physically hungry? Is that something my body's experiencing? And yes, I do need to eat.
Right.
But if I'm not hungry and it's just that it's 8 o'clock at night and that's usually when I snack, and I've trained myself like a lab rat that this is when I go to the snack cupboard, then I'm like, okay, I got to padlock the snack cupboard so that I think twice, or move the snack cupboard or something, or have somebody else move it. But it is kind of that thing of getting back into the mental awareness of where are we in that moment.
Yes. And and it's hard. I right now have a deck of cards for Ayurveda, so you can choose a different one. It'll have a different practice or philosophy. And I have satisfaction gauge on my refrigerator right now, because one of the philosophies is we should really only eat until we're about 75% full. And we should just honor the fact that we're full enough and that we are good. And then having a little extra space in our belly just allows it to churn and really break the food down more properly than if it was completely full.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to do. But again, that's kind of why having a coach and satisfaction gauge.
Well, and I like that you point out where you're at, because it isn't, I'm solved and now I've solved my problems and I'm just on this new
just
Ayurveda
listen to me.
program.
I know everything.
No.
Yeah, but it's a constant work always.
It is. I think that's why I started the podcast, because I thought, well, if I'm going to go on and talk about it every week or every month or however often, then I'm going to have to dive into it. And it's been so fun. I even told my husband today, I feel like now when I start to make decisions on food, I was like, I don't even think about it if it's healthy or not. I think if it's going to make me weaker.
Oh.
I'm like, is that going to make me it line me up with my power? Because here I am I'm going out and helping people be their best selves because I have to be my best self. And now I'm looking at food and going, that's going to take my power away.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to make me
That's a
weaker.
good way to look at it.
It's going to disconnect me from myself and my true purpose and what I'm doing here. And it's going to be hard on my body, right? It's going to be taxing, because from my Ayurvedic dosha test and my food logs, I understand now who I am and what I need. And it's just magic, you guys. It's
I love it.
just magic.
Well, that's why this show is called Be the Better Local, because we try to do things that make us better locals. Because again, we can only serve through abundance. And if we're not having abundance, then we can't serve the community.
Well, and now understanding what you do, I really understand the name of your business with Conscious Culinary.
Right?
Conscious
You're
Culinary.
conscious,
Right?
you're aware.
Yes.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Well, talking about 2021, everyone has new goals. They're trying to not erase 2020, but just have in the forefront that change could be happening at any point in time, and how can we become our best selves. So as Conscious Culinary develops in 2021, what are we looking at?
Well, I'm super excited because I am starting these 10-day programs.
Oh, nice.
Completely free. Everybody can do it. Sweet. Every day you get one recipe, healing recipe, right? It could be as simple as a digestive tea, right?
Oh, nice. Yeah.
One recipe, one mindful practice, and a little information about why they work. That's it. No harm, no foul. It's going to be really exciting, because my whole goal is that, we were saying meditation is so important, but so many of us feel insecure about doing it. Maybe that we're not doing it right. And I really want to introduce all the different ways that we can include mindfulness in our lives, and not be that monk sitting on the ground oming, you know.
Right.
It's that's everyone's vision of meditation, and it's taking a child who wants to play basketball and taking them to the NBA and being like, okay,
Right.
This is basketball.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like there's no way. You know,
where's
like,
the little Tykes at? That's
Right.
that's the goal I need.
like we don't start in the NBA. You know, we don't start with, you know, connecting to this subconscious power while we're meditating. People do that have been working on their craft for years and years and have a very specific intention of what they're doing. When we're just trying to stay mindful and just trying to like keep our minds in check, like I said, we just need to take that moment to step back and say, everything's okay. And sometimes we can do a guided meditation. Sometimes it's through journaling. Sometimes it's a hobby or a craft, right? Or just something that makes us really happy and tunes us in.
Yeah.
So these 10-day programs are going to kind of build on themselves. January 18th, we've got the first one starting. It's called Setting Intentions. And so it's going to be the recipes and the practices each day are going to help you figure out just what it is you want to cultivate for 2021 and how you're going to do it, right?
Yeah,
I love that. I'm going to set an intention for January 18th.
Right?
To be ready for that. 'Cause
Yes.
that sounds awesome.
And
It's gonna be amazing.
And this could be a step and repeat program, right? Everything that they learn during these programs, they can just refer back to them at any point in time, continue them, or just contact you. So, what are the best ways to support you currently?
So if you want any information, the best thing you can do is go to consciousculinary.org. Down at the bottom of the page, shoot me your email, and you will get all the newsletters and the updates and the way to sign up for the January 18th 10-day program and everything after that. You'll get notified when new podcasts come out. So consciousculinary.org, but you can also go to Conscious Culinary on Facebook, and you'll find information on my consulting services and get all the information there too.
Yeah, like that page too, so you can get
Yeah.
those notifications.
Like it,
so.
follow
Yes.
it, all that good stuff.
Well, Tracy, thank you so much for being a part of our show. We're going to go into the segment of Pod Decks. So are you ready for this? This has been
you
great
gotta
getting
move it
to know you. And so we're going to actually go from the What the
Okay.
Heck deck. And so
What
if you
the
want to
heck
do it, this
deck.
is the
All right.
What the Heck deck. So
Okay, I need new glasses. Have you ever licked a battery?
Of course.
Yeah.
But, not any battery, only the ones that give you that little zing.
yeah,
at the
right,
end
right.
of
You
the
got to have a
time.
little,
Yeah.
electricity going through there.
Yeah.
What
Have
you
about
done
the
that?
Yes, I have. The 9-volt. Yes,
Yes.
definitely have done the 9-volt battery
Yeah,
test.
I remember doing that as a kid. It's like, yeah.
Oh, as a kid?
Yeah, I haven't done it since then.
Oh, last week's inappropriate then?
I think I probably do it every time I have one of those batteries in
Right?
my
I'm
hand.
like, does it work?
Yep, still works.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. This is Pod Decks. Use the code BD Local if you're purchasing any of their items or subscribing. It gets you 10% off of the products and services there. So, Tracy, thank you so much for being a part of our show. It's the new year. We have so much to look forward to, and thank you so much for supporting.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Until next time, be the change needed in the world today. We'll be right back with our last segment.